You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You can't handle the truth!
Well, we're giving you the Michigan Sports Truth, the show that reveals facts, truth, research, and statistics and never messes around. We lay down the entire truth about everything regarding your Detroit and Michigan sports teams, no matter if it's good or bad. No junk, no entertainment, no homerism, no coddling, no pop culture, no opinions, no shilling, and no fluff. Head over to our website at MichiganSportsTruth.com, follow us on Twitter at Michigan_Truth, and like our Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth. The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
Episode 308 is in session. Man, a depressing ending to the weekend, of course. Got lots of others to talk about, but why don't we get started on the Michigan State Spartans real quick. The Spartans got eliminated by the Syracuse Orange 55-53 after beating the Bucknell Bison 82-78. In the Orange game, the Spartans had all kinds of trouble with their shooting percentages. 25.8% from the floor, 21.6% from three, and their free throws were killing them too. They were unanimously out-rebounding the Orange, if you look at the statistics, but all that went for naught, as the Spartans were shooting pretty awfully.
I guess from the weekend, obviously, nobody's bracket is safe, and that includes the people that had Michigan State making it to the Final Four, or even all the way to the championship game, and perhaps even winning a national championship. You watch this game, and you want to break it down. And again, I'm not a person that tries to break it down into the finest of details. When you look at how Michigan State played in this game, yes, it is a short turnaround. Yes, it is a team that is coached by a veteran coach, and they play a style that is not exactly something that they see every day. And it's tough to get a team to go from one game to the other. But Michigan State, for all of the talk of how talented they are, of how great this team is going to be, all the accolades that people want to lay at them, what got laid bare today is that they were overrated, and that Tom Izzo didn't do his best job of coaching. And there's a lot of other things going on at the university that probably sapped his attention. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that there's not a lot of people that are privy to those things. But when it boils down to Michigan State, all of it,
I think we apologize for the technical difficulties.
I feel like it out there. But what happened was today, that they were shown to be a fraud. Because there's not a team that you want to talk to them about. If you want to talk about the teams that they are, if you want to talk about one of the players that they are, and you can't play that way against a team that, yes, it's Syracuse and they're down, but they've run the same defense for 40 years. They are who they are. Jim Boeheim is Jim Boeheim. They're going to run you a 2-3 zone. You know that coming in the game. You don't react well to it. And then Tom Izzo plays a 6th-year senior who is basically a preferred walk-on, who hadn't even played any games of note up to this point. And he's on the floor for 23 minutes. Xavier Tillman, who was their superstar, actually came to one point, plays 22 minutes. Yet Jaron Jackson doesn't play more than 15 minutes. And Nick Ward, who's probably your best interior scorer, doesn't play more than 16 minutes. I feel like Tom Izzo did a very poor job of coaching this team today as far as strategy. They didn't continue to attack inside where Syracuse was more vulnerable. And they chose to settle for jump shots. And for a team that is supposedly as dominant talent-wise as any state team has ever been, but potentially, this is a disappointing result because you have Miles Bridges and Cassius Winston, Nick Ward, Jaron Jackson. That's four of your starters. And all the people that said that Michigan, and other players on Michigan that said Michigan State, that could be true. None of the Michigan State was going to be its own worst enemy. That was also true. It was just, I think for Michigan State, the biggest thing that happened today was that they were exposed to what they played the easiest conference schedule. They played a mildly difficult non-conference schedule, but everybody wanted to keep these accolades up. And they continually disappointed. When they were ranked number one in the regular season, the first thing they did was go out and lose 2 of 3 and almost lose to Rutgers at home. This is a team that could not handle the spot, could not handle the violence. And they showed that to them. And had they won the game somehow today, I would have shuddered to think what they would have done against a tough opponent. But we're not going to be able to find that out. We're going to watch Syracuse advance in Sweet 16 with a whole host of other double-digit seeds. That seems to be the thing this year is double-digit seeds in Sweet 16. But Michigan State were all the people that thought they were going to cruise into the Final Four, or there was this big matchup with Duke coming up in the Sweet 16. You don't have to worry about that because your team and your coach crapped it up today and fell flat on the face. And that's what they're not doing.
Yeah. That's exactly the result they deserve. Their team keeping settling for jump shots, and Tom Izzo is just coaching like he could have coached a lot better, but didn't. And now after the game, Tom Izzo says he doesn't plan on going anywhere. When the time came for him to start, when the time almost comes for him to start discussing the allegations of the lack of accountability with the sexual assault investigations with Travis Walton, the Larry Nassar case, all the players, and the enabling of then President Luana K. Simon of the university. And Tom Izzo still tells the media that he doesn't plan on going anywhere. He just brushes everything off like he always does.
Which really, that's really awesome. You're not going to get a lot of meaningful feedback.
I can still barely hear you.
Oh, sorry. You're not going to get a lot of meaningful feedback. Especially it's like at these press conferences. I think they're kind of a show up because you can drag guys in there that they could have just lost a big game or won a big game, and it takes a full 24 hours to do the best of that. But Tom Izzo, I'm defensively, this is going to be an out-season for him that there's a much that he's going to have to get to. It's not going to be just about basketball. And I think that's something that weighed on him as well as it should, because all the things that are going on with Michigan State, all the other allegations of the best of college basketball. He just seems like a good guy with. State has never seemed this year to get into a dominant group. They won games, yes. They won big games. They beat big time opponents, but they were never in my mind a dominant team. And for all of the people that thought that they were the most talented team, all the people that thought that they had all this talent, they were going to be able to maybe finally end their streak against Duke in the tournament. You can't end the streak, you don't get there. And I think they kind of lost. They kind of lost focus there. And yeah, they had a bad shooting. You can't say a team in a terrible season when you have one bad day. You have one bad season. But I will say that for all the people that said that they had the most talent, that they were too good to not win, the Final Four was the bare minimum. They felt they had one of the best teams, not only in the country, but in Michigan State's history as far as talent. And they couldn't get past it. And that's got to be something. And a lot of people on the players, because they're the ones that go out there and do what the coach says. But when the coach tells me to do something that's in the best position, there's something going on. And again, I don't think that all their focus was there. They even seemed to think they'd a little bit disinterested at times. And it took some points of shooting and some rough stuff by Montreal's. I believe that if I were able to go ahead and that final score is kind of just was a bunch of late threes. But it just never seemed like the team was engaged all year. And I think that falls on the coaching staff. Because when you're talking about 18, 22 kids, that's the challenge. It's not how they play the game in the bathroom. It's keeping them engaged and getting them to ball. I just don't think that ever happened this season. I watched them a handful of times this year. They just never seemed like they were in the game as far as mental. There were certain times what would happen over the balance of the season was built. Again, there's a lot of things going on, and that stuff affects you. And I think this is the product of all that finally coming to a head today. And they weren't able to be a team that was inferior to them, who was engaged and motivated, whereas Michigan State was not.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so the Spartans are done. And for the Michigan Wolverines, they beat the Montana Grizzlies 61-47. And then they fell behind 10-0 to start their game against Houston in the round of 32. But they came back. They led for most of the game, but most of the game was very close. And when it came down to the very end, Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman made a very good lead pass, and Jordan Poole hit a near right elbow three at the buzzer to win it for the Michigan Wolverines.
Oh, man! I love it! Holy jumping!
I mean, they started out very poorly against Montana. And they were very rusty. They had not played in almost 2 weeks. So you can see that against 14 seed, you can have that type of game because Montana couldn't throw the ocean from the ship. So they were able to struggle past it one goal by here. There's some parts where to this point. He is a vital part of that team. Backcourt was able to carry them to victory over Montana. Defensively, they were very good. And then they had Houston who got to another good start. This was a team that said this week they came into this tournament smoking out Rob Brady, obviously playing very good basketball. And they were very good heading into the NCAA tournament. much points. And you thought that when Michigan missed the chance with 3.5 seconds to go, that the game was over. Houston misses both free throws and allows Michigan the one crack they needed to get into the game to win. And then, inexplicably, I mean, you look at the coaching that's going on. How do you guard the mountains? He can't move. He can't run the baseline. They basically allow them to come up the half court. And as I mentioned, they pass it after immediately throws it to Jordan Poole. And he hits an amazing shot. And there was great defense on the shot. Get me wrong. It's an amazing shot. But to let them even get a chance like that is borderline lunacy on the part of Kevin Sanders. Because you basically just say, you're going to take it into half court and see what you can do. Yeah, there's only 3 seconds on the clock. There's not much in the way of offensive sets that you can run that. But to allow them to get it into the front court with no defense whatsoever, it boggled my mind. But that's what sometimes happens. You play not to lose, and that's what happens sometimes. And that's what Kelly seems to do. They play not to lose. They thought they could cover well enough in the front court. They wouldn't get a good shot up. And believe me, that's not the best shot we want. But that's the one they got. And Jordan Poole is a hero for Michigan. Nails it. And they get to move on to the Sweet 16. And the road for them now has become a little less trepidatious with UNC losing to Texas A&M. And so what people perceive to be their biggest fault to the has now been removed. And the fact that UNC has been eliminated as well. So Michigan will move on to the Sweet 16 to play Texas A&M on Thursday. We don't know the tip time yet. The game's going to be in Los Angeles, so we know it's not going to be very early. And, we'll see what happens. But, that's the difference between Michigan and Michigan State right now. Is Michigan had 2 bad games. Neither games, and they're still alive. And Michigan State had 2 so-so games, and they're gone. That's the difference. And when you're talking about the NCAA tournament, it doesn't take much. And that's what happened. It doesn't take much for you to be gone. And Michigan State's gone, and Michigan's still there because they were engaged the entire game. They fought tooth and nail for everything they got. And yes, it took a miracle shot by Jordan Poole to advance, but Houston down the stretch didn't play very well. You can't miss those free throws and expect big things to happen. And it's exactly what did occur in that game. And Michigan has some things they need to work out. They're shooting very poorly from outside, and that's usually definite for a John Mueller coach team with their defense. Even though the second half not really came alive, their defense has put them into the Sweet 16 again. And we'll see what happens with Texas A&M, a team that was able to upset North Carolina. And we'll see what happens next week on Thursday if Michigan can get things back in order and if they can get things moving with all the things that have happened in the bracket, with all the teams that have gone down. Michigan's looking better and better as a team that can potentially advance to the Final Four and get themselves a shot at the national championship.
There'll be a new national champion after that upset over North Carolina. Texas A&M and Michigan, the Wolverines and the Aggies. Thursday, time to be determined, channel to be determined as well. We'll have to wait and see on that. So, that's college basketball. Now we transition to pro basketball and the Pistons. Well, the Pistons, they continue to sink out of the playoff picture farther. They lose to the Utah Jazz 110-97. They lose to the Denver Nuggets 120-113, and then they lose to the Portland Trail Blazers 100-87. And after that game, Stan Van Gundy got fined $15,000 for criticizing the refs, just like the Pelicans head coach that was criticizing the refs during his game against the Houston Rockets.
Well, those type of things would happen when you're frustrated. Pistons obviously did good on defense. They have no answers. They gave up triple digits in all three of their losses this week. The offense wasn't firing on all cylinders for most of the week. This is just a team that they started out with so much promise. Reggie Jackson's injury seemed to impact them more than anybody thought it would. And now they're basically out of the playoff picture, even though they're still technically in it as far as it goes. But this is a team that has no identity. They don't have a player that they can go to that can get them the big buckets, nor that they can stop on defense. And Stan Van Gundy gets money because he's criticizing the officials, but at the same time, you look at the coaching that he's done over the balance of the Reggie Jackson injury, and I understand that he's limited by the roster, but when you're the guy that puts the roster together, some of those things, some of those criticisms are going to be valid because you're the guy that gave yourself the ammo to play these games. You're the guy, you're the person who, you're the team president, even though he's not the GM, Jeff Bowers, the GM. Stan Van Gundy has a huge input on this roster, and you get what you pay for. And the acquisition of Blake Griffin, that was also a very short-lived boost to the team, and now they're struggling just as bad or worse than they were before they got Blake Griffin. And this is a team that right now, without a first-round pick, is headed towards a very serious offseason because people expected them to have taken a step back last year to see really where they were at and see this season as a barometer for Stan Van Gundy. Is disappointing for them, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens because even though they're so nice, the history happens. They have no sign of changes. Being able to make any sort of run in the last 15 games or so to be able to eclipse the Miami Heat and get in the playoffs. So there's just a lot of questions and not many answers for the Detroit Pistons.
Pistons losing 13 out of the last 16 games. They have 13 games left. They have lost 3 straight. They're 30-39. 6.5 games back of the Miami Heat for the 8th and final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Time's running out, and the Pistons got to get something going if they want to catch up. It's probably going to be a miracle, it looks like.
I mean, the only reason they're still in ninth is because the teams are behind them. I mean, it's future only got the name of the points in the standings for the 10 spot. And, like you said, it's going to take a miracle for them to be able to get into the playoffs. And not only will they have to go on the run, the Heat will also have to completely falter and have this horrible record for them to make any headway because when you're talking about jumping teams, you can go on the run, but if that other team that keeps playing at the same pace, you're not going to get it anymore. So the Pistons right now just don't have a lot of answers. They don't have a lot of flexibility in the lineup. It's just really, it's just a very big picture for the Detroit Pistons. When you look at their record on the road right now, they're 9-21 away from little Caesars Arena. That's you can't be a playoff team and do that right now. It's just not good. And there's a lot of things that we're going to have to this offseason for them to get back into a contending spot. And I just don't know.
Pistons continue their road trip at Sacramento Monday at 10, at Phoenix Tuesday at 10, and then at Houston Thursday at 8. Checking the rest of the schedule on the Pistons app. They're back at home Saturday against the Chicago Bulls this upcoming Saturday at 7. Got a 3-game homestand a week from Monday against the Lakers and a week from Thursday against the Wizards before they head back on the road to New York and Madison Square Garden and the Knicks, and then the Nets on April 1st on Easter Sunday and April Fool's Day. Can you imagine Easter and April Fool's Day all in one day? By the way, that's kind of strange, but that's pretty much Pistons talk. The Pistons, man, good luck to them. Now we transition from basketball to hockey and the Red Wings.
Speaking of struggling,
The Red Wings, man, oh man, continued their tanking ways like good little boys. They lose to the Sharks 4-3 in regulation. They lose to the Kings 4-1, the Ducks 4-2, and the Avalanche 5-1. And now they've sunk down to 4th worst in the NHL, 2nd worst in the East. They're still at 63 points, 26-35 in 11. One more regulation loss than the Ottawa Senators have, 26-34 in 11. The Senators are 5th worst. See, the Oilers lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning 3-1 in St. Petersburg. The Blackhawks got a point in a 5-4 overtime loss to the St. Louis Blues. They're 8th worst are the Blackhawks at 68 points, 30-34 and 8. But behind Detroit, the Vancouver Canucks at 59 points, Buffalo Sabres 58, and the Arizona Coyotes 57. The Red Wings are just 6 points away from that top overall pick, but they are very damn close to the top 3 range in the NHL lottery draft picks.
Well, the more that they lose in regulation, the more chances they will have, theoretically, to be able to get into that top 5 or that top 3. And the same thing that we just talked about with this, and the same we said in Detroit, no identity. Defensively, they're very poor. They don't have a lot of goal scorers that can finish. And it's the Mets. And, Ken Holland, who, you talk about what's going to happen for them in the offseason. There's a lot of questions for them. It's not only do they have a roster that is poorly constructed, they don't have a lot of cap space. And they have guys that they can bring back that on the younger side. They want to continue this progression towards retooling and restocking their roster. And one of the ways to do that is to pick very high. And it'll be very interesting to see how this shakes out for them. And it's just a mess down there in Detroit. And there's no easy way out of it. There just isn't. And when you're talking about rebuilds and retools and all these other terms, it boils down to what is your identity? What is it that you're playing? If you have a solid plan in place, nice forgiving, they can get behind you. And the Red Wings don't have it because for all the bluster that they spew about staying competitive and trying to win games while they're rebuilding, basically what you're telling me is that you're just scared to go into full rebuild mode because you don't think that you can do it. And we've talked about this topic ad nauseum on here, so many other people. The Red Wings are just, they're lost in mediocrity. they're not good enough to make the playoffs. They're adding guys on the roster that during free agency that aren't going to help them, and they're just lost. And I don't know if I would say this is rock bottom for the Red Wings, because it may not be. Some people seem to think that it is, but you're talking about a team that is severely in need of future, of not only young players, but also the new philosophy, the new way of thinking. And it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the offseason. Because being more and more looked at, if it's not coming back, who are they going to replace him with if that is the case? And what is that person going to do? Because they're going to be handed an absolute trash of the roster and a lot of problems they have to solve as far as paying guys, finding which guys they want to bring back, trying to maneuver around some of the contracts that are on the roster, and really going to get just a messy situation. And it's not going to be fun or what the Red Wings fans. If you're thinking about fun, this is not a team on the rise. This is a team that is headed downward, and you're headed downward fast. And there are ways to spin that. There are ways to make it look like you're trying to do the right thing. It's just not working, and they have to be able to take this in a brand new direction. That might take some time. It will take some time. And it's just disappointing because when you look at how they've managed this team over the last 6 or 7 years, it's been a slow decline. And instead of embracing that, they've just tried to stop. Yeah. Solve a lot of the problems that they have. And they haven't been able to do it. So, it's a mess. There's no other way to say it. And it's real disappointing to watch a team do that. They've lost 10 straight. They've gone 9-1 against 10. And all you can hope for is that they get into that top 3, top 5 range and get a player that can help them immediately as far as being on the NHL roster and try to see what you can do to work out of this, because this is going to be a while before the Red Wings are relevant in the conversation. We're talking about NHL.
Yeah, and I think they have a chance to get into that top 3, if not the top overall pick. They're home against the Philadelphia Flyers Tuesday at 7:30, and then the Washington Capitals, and then they're at the Toronto Maple Leafs Saturday at 7. They've got 10 games left. Time's running out, though, but I still think they have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to play just as poorly as they are. When you're talking about teams that are bad, I mean, those teams are also going to be bad. We have to hope that they can sink down as far as possible. They're only 6 points out of the worst record in the league. There's a lot of teams out there at the bottom. Talking about Vancouver, Arizona. You mentioned Edmonton. Edmonton's actually 4 points out on them in the Buffalo Sabres. So right now they're within striking distance. You hope some of those teams at the bottom maybe pick up a little motivation and get out of the Red Wings continue to struggle. And boy, if they can get that number 1 overall pick, and what we didn't think was possible 2 months ago, picking Rasmus Dahlin, which a lot of people think consensus over number 1 pick, that would be a great start to rebuild your team. Let's get the best player available on the draft, and we'll see if they can get there.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So, that's Red Wings talk. Now just one team left to cover, and it's going to be really big. It's the Lions here.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
First, the re-signings. They've re-signed safety Tavon Wilson to a 2-year, $7 million contract. They've re-signed cornerback Nevin Lawson to a 3-year, $10.3 million contract. They've re-signed running back Zach Zenner, and then the players they lost: Haloti Ngata a one-year deal with the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. The Lions matched that deal, but Nana didn't want to play in Matt Patricia's scheme. That's what we heard. Tight end Darren Fells signing a 3-year, $12 million deal with the 0-16 Cleveland Browns. Cornerback DJ Hayden signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Lions also released tight end Eric Ebron.
Oh, man.
And then the signings that they've got, they signed New York Giants linebacker Devin Kennard to a 3-year, $18.75 million contract. Chicago Bears linebacker Christian Jones to a 2-year, $7.75 million contract. They've signed former Seattle Seahawks cornerback Deshaun Sheed to a one-year, $3.5 million deal. And finally, this is a big one. Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles running back LeGarrett Blount signed by the Lions to a 1-year, $4.5 million contract.
Holy jumping! I love it!
Well, he had Matt Patricia come in as the head coach, and he made it very clear that he wanted to concentrate on the linebacker position. Probably their weakest of all the three groups in the defensive side. And last year they didn't really address that. They get Paul Warlow and Tahir Whitehead, who they re-signed. They brought those guys in and didn't do anything about it. And so they went out and made a splash as far as legal linebackers agency. Remains to be seen. People that they won free agency this year. And they really concentrated on offense. And they still were looking for a social attack. So, it's one of those things where you can talk about all they want. About the guys they bring in and the guys that they let go. Eric Ebron being released was somewhat of a surprise. Not because of him being gone, it's just the timing of it. Seemed kind of odd. But that said, they went ahead and did it. Which they were going to free up some more money to grab some guys in the defensive side. And so they're going to get one to help them in the third and shorts, like I said, because that's what he does. He's a big guy to batter you up. And when you can't make third and fourth and short, your offense isn't going to do much. And they were the league's worst team in those situations. So they had to get that fixed. And you can put all the guys in the offensive line that you want, but if you don't have somebody that can make those top yards, it's going to be real tough to really succeed in an offense. And they're hoping LeGarrett Blount can come in and provide them with that specific skill set, which is the short yardage stuff that they struggled so much with in the last season.
Mm-hmm. How about the releasing of tight end Eric Ebron? Jeff Moss was pointing out that Eric Ebron was putting his things together right before they released him, and the reason they did that was because they couldn't find a trade partner. So they were trying to get rid of him somehow. It was, I think, some people might say it was too little, too late. That's another one of our 5 questions that's coming up right next.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious that Matt Patricia went to construction. They were planning on Eric Ebron being there. And, like I said, the timing was kind of weird simply because it was really close to the start of free agency. But it was pretty obvious to that. I think that they just were going to cut bait, and he always wanted to find a trade partner to him. But my theory always has been to get something for free. Well, why would you spend an asset to get something that you can get for free later on? And pretty much everybody knew that if they didn't make a trade for Eric nothing but to stay. And so nobody really bet on that. So I got simple to heck with it. And we'll just go ahead and get rid of them. We'll put them in. They'll get some more money and agency to sign another one.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So, I believe that's all we need to cover. So the Lions probably going to wait until the NFL draft, which begins like late April or something like that. But that being said, it is now time for 5 questions.
It's time for 5 questions on the Michigan Sports Truth.
Question number 1. Will Tom Izzo stay at Michigan State?
Well, if he wants to. The question will be, will somebody else make that decision for him? I don't think that they would fire him based on his performance. Obviously, he won 30 games during the regular season. He did something. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of other things going on at the school that still haven't been answered. And there's still some things that need to be revealed. And, if there's something were to come up where they need to make that correct decision, that's something that could happen. I think it becomes less likely with each day that Michigan State's going to be implicated in a major scandal when it comes to the college basketball investigation by the FBI. But there's just a lot of outside noise that's affecting the program, and it's hard to tell a coach who just won 30 games that your services are no longer needed. So I don't think it would come from that anymore. I think it would come from something else, an outside source that gives information that would facilitate him being locked up. So I think he'll stay right now, simply because there's not going to be an upswell of people waiting for you to get fired. But at the same time, there are still a lot of things that need to be reviewed and figured out as far as investigations go. If any information comes from there that would force Michigan State's hand, but my answer to that question is he's not going to leave by his own decision, and I don't think Michigan State's going to make him leave unless they know something that would force their hand and facilitate his departure.
Next question.
Question number 2. How far can Michigan go in the big dance after their buzzer beater?
Boy, you look at the road for that, I mean, it's considerably less challenging when you talk about the talent level and the teams that are ahead. Obviously, you can't overlook any of them. Was able to beat North Carolina. That people would point to that game, Sweet 16 matchup between North Carolina and Michigan is the biggest stumbling block. Now that's been removed. And then you potentially see Gonzaga ahead in the other day in the regional finals. It can go either way, but I think that Michigan, the road that they have, has gotten considerably easier in the past 24 hours. And it's on them. I think that Michigan will go as far as they want to. It won't be a team that necessarily is more talented than them, but it may be a team that is a better matchup that people didn't project them to be playing against, because at this point the bracket is a complete mess. That said, I think that they will go as far as their backcourt will carry that. And so far, their backcourt has got 2 games. And if they can have consistent yard play and play defense the way they did in the last 2 rounds, the sky's the limit. I think the Final Four is a reasonable goal for them now. And we get to the Final Four, there's other teams that can fall by the wayside. to reach out and they can do what's going to play as well as double digit seed and that finally work depending on the success. So it's going to be interesting, but I think Michigan, for them, the biggest thing is if they can get their shooting on track and stay with the defensive effort they've had in the past 2 games, and really what they've been in the last 10 to 12 games they've played, they're going to be a real tough out in this tournament. But again, it's going to hinge on that backcourt. If that backcourt's able to produce points when Mo Wagner and John Teskey are able to pick the slack, if that backcourt can start to produce offensively at a better clip than they've been able to, Michigan's going to really be able to get deep into this tournament.
Next question.
Question number 3, are the Lions retooling?
Well, the Wizards says because they've made a lot of moves that have gotten a lot of traction in getting Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn's philosophies to the forefront. They've gotten rid of players that really don't fit the way that Matt Patricia wants to run his team. And anytime you have a new head coach coming, that's the reality of the NFL, is that even though you might be a good player and you might have some value, you're just not going to be into that team. And it's been said before, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit because it's about a different league. There are no bad players in the NFL. There are guys that are in good positions to succeed. And they might not be in the right scheme or the right position, but there are no bad players. And the Lions are in definitely need of some retooling. They went out and got somebody LeGarrett Blount to help them with what they saw on this most last year on offense with their subject situations. And they were also overhauling their linebacking core because it was the weakest group of the 3 on the defensive side. So they are definitely retooling in the sense that they were clearing the way for Matt Patricia to do what he wants with his schematics on the defensive side. And for the offense, they don't feel that there's a lot of improvements or a lot of places where they need to overhaul any position groups, and they're just merely adding on to what they already have. So they tendered T.J. Jones. A lot of people didn't think that he was going to stay around, and he ended up getting second round tendered, so they're going to keep him. Offensively, they're relatively on the defensive side. For a team that struggled defensively all year last year, that's what they needed to accomplish. And Patricia's going to go into his first year with a roster that pretty much has his stamp on it.
Next question.
Was it too little too late? Question number 4, was it too little too late for Eric Ebron to improve for the Lions?
You look at his season, how it started out season very poorly. He was resurging in the second half of the season, but I think the damage had been done. He was a top 10 draft, drafted in front of a number of players that have had greater success. I think that for Eric Ebron, he couldn't have done enough to stay on the roster. And it was proven as much because he was cut. And for him to improve, there's a lot to be said for a guy who has that type of talent. Because if you look at his raw talent, he can be effective in certain areas, but the fact that he just never put it together in a Lions uniform, anything he did over the last half of the last season wasn't going to change. And like I said, they're not concentrating on overhauling the offense because, for the most part, their offense, other than some situations, wasn't that bad. It was the big yardage, the big catches that needed to be made. And Eric Ebron was part of that problem. He was a guy that you couldn't count on 34 or 35 when you needed a big catch. And when you can't count on the guy to make those catches, yes, stats can lie sometimes. And for Eric Ebron. He had some touchdowns in the second half that he was able to pull in. He had a better game overall. But it still boiled down to when you needed to throw the ball to somebody in a tight situation. He wasn't the guy that was even the first or second option. He was way down the list. And for a guy that you picked 10th in the draft, you can't hit that. And so I just don't think that he was going to be able to prove himself in the eyes of Bob Quinn that he was going to be a part of this team moving forward and being a successful part of the offense and the team for the Lions. So I just don't think that. I think his fate was decided well before this season had ended.
Next question.
Finally, question number 5. Do the Red Wings have a chance to get into the top 3 NHL lottery draft picks later in the spring?
What they do, they're going to continue to put as bad as they can. But you also have to count on some of the other teams.
Speak up.
They'll be able to maybe win some games and get motivated as the Vikings. Hopefully they can continue their losing ways if they want to get into the top 3. And I think for them to do so would be, it's not impossible. But again, you have to rely on other teams, and we'll see how that pans out. I think that they definitely have a chance to do so. But at the same time, you have to hope some of the other teams below them get a little bit of motivation and get some points in the last 10 games of the season. So we have to be able to get down that route.
Yep. Same here. So that wraps up our 5-question segment, and to our entire audience, if they want to answer those 5 questions, just replay that segment portion of this episode and answer them the best you can without going out of line.
Pencils down, everyone. It's time to find out what's your grade.
Got 4 signings that the Lions made. First off, Giants linebacker Devin Kennard.
Well, I feel like he was the centerpiece of their free agency class so far. And they've signed a lot of guys, as most teams will do. But Devin Kennard was obviously the centerpiece. He was the guy that got paid the most money. And they feel that he's going to be a big asset. So the grade on that right now is B+, because I think they got him for a pretty reasonable amount of money. And with all the other things going on in free agency, linebackers or not necessarily a premium. There was a lot of guys that were good, but I don't think there was one guy that, when you're talking about free agency, that was being targeted in that position. Obviously, certain teams are going to have certain guys that want, but there wasn't a lot of talk about linebackers as being one of the earth-shattering position groups in this recent free agency round. So I'm going to give them a B+ because they were able to get somebody that they had targeted, and they didn't have to break the bank necessarily to bring them in.
How about Bears linebacker Christian Jones?
Well, the Bears, I got to see them play a little bit more. Attention to them. I'm going to give this one a B. Christian Jones never really got into a groove with the Bears. He just wasn't able to really get into a rhythm as far as his position, and I think that's for the Lions to take a chance on him. He fits the scheme. He's athletic. He's got some size, but he can move. And that's what Matt Patricia wants out of his linebackers. He doesn't want guys to stuff the middle, and he doesn't want guys to. He wants guys that can play multiple positions. They can play any of the 3 linebacker spots at any time. So you need to have some athleticism to do that. And Christian Jones is one of those guys. You look at his splits and stats, obviously not that impressive. And so they're really looking at his skill set and hoping that he's able to come into his own in Matt Patricia's scheme. He started 11 games last year for the Bears in Vic Fangio's defense, which, if you look at how he runs that defense, it's a 3-4. And you're going to see a lot of guys that the Lions bring in that have some 3-4 skill sets because Matt Patricia likes to put multiple looks on the defensive side. So they brought in Christian Jones, who really is a versatile linebacker when we're talking about position-wise. He can definitely play in any of the positions that Matt Patricia's going to want him to play. So I'm going to give this one a B because even though he didn't necessarily come to form with the Bears, he definitely has some value. And the Bears are a team right now that's on a retool as far as defensively, and they were able to pick up Christian Jones. So I have Christian Jones for a 2-year deal, and we'll see where he goes with that.
Seahawks cornerback Deshaun Sheed.
I give that one a B minus. I think that defensive back was pretty well stocked. You can't have it up in any position. I think Deshaun Sheed will just be a complement to what they already have there in the defensive secondary. And being a guy from Seattle, obviously a very good defense, so you know that he can play. But Seattle's another team that is trying to restock and definitely retool their roster. He was one of those casualties, and the Lions saw something in him and knowing what he could do. He's coming from a very good defensive system, and Matt Patricia Bob decided that they needed an additional defensive back to create some competition, and he definitely will be able to do that.
And finally, last but not least, Eagles running back LeGarrett Blount.
Well, I'm going to give this one a B minus, and it's not because LeGarrett Blount's going to score 50 touchdowns and have 1,000 yards.
B minus.
He is who he is. He's not your starting running back. He is a specific situation running back where, I think that if you're looking to upgrade your backfield, he's not the first thought. But when you've won 2 championships back to back with 2 different teams, there's a reason that you're on those teams. And LeGarrett Blount, for all of the things that he's gone through in his career, is still a viable short yardage running back. And that's what they got him for, is to get those tough yards. But I think that a lot of people may be overshooting the expectations for him. And that's where the grade comes from, is because people are going to expect him to be this big running back. He's not a number one. He's the guy that you hand it to on 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and then he's done. He's not a guy that you're going to hand the ball to 25 times a game. So it seems a little bit more expensive than it needs to be. That's another reason for the grade too. Simply because he took $1 million deals the last 2 years to play on championship teams, and now you have Lions giving him a substantially bigger deal in terms of money for him to come on board. So it remains to be seen if he's going to earn that money, so to speak. But boy, when you have a performance like the Lions did last season on offense in those short yardage, late down situations, you need to pay some premium sometimes to get the guy that you believe is going to help you improve there, and that's what you do. So it's a good addition for them. It wasn't the best contract, but sometimes you have to overpay when you have a need, and that's exactly what happened with the Lions. They needed a guy that could get them to top short yardage situations, and they wanted to get the guy that they feel is going to help them improve them.
All right, so those are all the events that we need agreed on our What's Your Grade segment. So for our audience, if they have a grade for each event, post them in the comment bank in this episode, and please don't go out of line. That's episode 308 of the Week in Review. Before we sign off, we want to remind everyone to share this episode and our entire podcast on social media and have their friends share that as well, because we want to tell them that the Michigan Sports Truth podcast is searching for a wider local audience that is fans of sports. So please spread the word about the Michigan Sports Truth podcast, its Facebook page, and its new Twitter handle at Michigan_Truth. Buck, Geno, thanks very much. We'll talk to you next week. Yep. And I'm Taylor Phillips. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Buck Geno at Buck Geno III. Like and share the Michigan Sports Truth Facebook page. And follow our new Twitter handle at Michigan_Truth. We'll talk to you next week on episode 309. Thanks very much for listening and downloading and sharing. TTFN, ta-ta for now.
Bon appétit.
The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
Mission complete.